Hello one and all, welcome to Heebites. Now if you're watching this video, you've probably just watched my how and why you should track your net worth video. If not, then I recommend you watch that first. There's a link in the description. So this video is all about the net worth tracker template Excel spreadsheet, and I'm just going to take you through how to set it up and how to use it and what functions it has. So when you open it for the first time, this is what it will look like. It's pretty empty. So I'm going to show you now how you would set it up. If you're watching this in 2019, then you don't have to do anything because all these dates will be correct. If you're not watching this in 2019 and you want to update it to the year that you're in, all you have to do is change the value in cell D1. So change the year to your current year, so let's say 2020. And by doing that, all of the months along the header here will change automatically, and also all the dates on the graph on the next tab will also update automatically. It's worth mentioning as well that there's 25 years worth of data on here. If you're still using it after 25 years, I will personally fly to wherever you live and buy you a drink and then extend the spreadsheet for another 25 years for you. Next thing to do is make a list of all your assets and liabilities. So conveniently, I have prepared a little list of assets and liabilities. These aren't my own personal assets and liabilities, but these are just some examples of things that you could have. You're going to want to click Show Unused Rows. Takes a moment, there we go. And now you can see all of the rows available to you. What I've done is used column C to mark rows that you want to hide. So if you put an X against the rows you want to hide, when you click Hide Unused Rows, they'll all be hidden and disappear. Now the reason you might want to use this is if you have an account which you close, for instance. So you want to keep the data, but you don't want to see that account anymore. So you can just put an X against the row that account is in, and then it will be hidden. But it'll still, it won't delete the data, and so your graph will still remain the same. If you find that you don't have enough rows, you can always add more. You just right click, insert, entire row, and that will insert a new row, and it shouldn't break anything. Now that I have all the rows showing, we can start to input the data. First thing I have is a Santander 123 current account. So in the first row I will type Santander 123 current account. I like to put the interest rate that you get on the account in there just as a little reminder. It's quite nice to see. So that's our first asset listed. Now in column A you'll see these little icons, and these little icons represent the asset class, and you'll see that these cells are actually drop down menus. So when you're listing your assets, you have to assign them in column A to the correct asset class, and this is what enables the asset distribution pie chart to work, because it adds up all of the assets of each class together. So when you click on the drop down menu, you will see the different types of asset listed, and also at the bottom you have liabilities, and then you have mortgages. I've put mortgages under a separate category, and again that's for calculation purposes. So a Santander 123 current account is a cash asset, so you would assign that with the cash icon. So now I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste the rest of those assets into here to save a bit of time, and I will give each one a category. Okay, so I've input all of the different assets, listed them all down here. Now we need to make sure they're in the correct categories. So current account is cash, 123 saver is cash, nationwide instant access. ISA is cash. Premium bonds, these are bonds, so I need to change the category to bonds. Cryptocurrencies are obviously cryptocurrencies. And then we have stocks and shares, that's equities. And then we have a property value, which is property. And then we have a car, which comes under the other category. And we have some gold, that's a commodity. We have a workplace pension, which is a pension obviously, and a self-invested personal pension. There we go. So now they're all in the correct categories. I've deleted all the data out of the rows below. Now we need to remove the X's from the rows that we wish to see. So these rows here we want to see, so we delete the X's. And then let's just go down to liabilities. So liabilities, I've listed all the different liabilities. So we have, that's just a liability, then we have a mortgage. So you need to put mortgages under the mortgage category here. And then we have a car loan, and that just comes under the liabilities category. And again, make sure that you've removed the X's from the rows that you wish to see in column C. And then you can go ahead and hide the unused rows. Give it a second, my computer is a little bit slow. And see what we're working with. Okay. So now what you've got to do is start inputting your first month's worth of data. So all you have to do is just list the current value of all your assets into the appropriate column. So if you're starting in January, you do this in column D, or if you're starting in another month, do it in the appropriate column and just leave all the previous month's values as 0. So this usually involves logging into all your accounts and checking the balances or values, or in the case of houses and cars or other high value items, you just want to put an estimated value in there. So to save some time, I'm going to refer now back to the example I showed earlier, which already has a few months worth of data in it. So here you can see, once you've input a couple of months worth of data, you have your net worth shown along the top here, and the change each month shown in the second row here. At the bottom of the sheet, you have listed the total value of your assets and the total value of your liabilities, and the difference is your net worth at the top here. Each month I recommend writing the date that you enter the data, because it can sometimes explain discrepancies if you do it on different dates each month. At the top of the sheet, in this row here, row 6, I like to write notes. If something noteworthy has happened during a month, which could explain a big change in net worth, I like to note that here. So for example, in this row here, I've noted that this person starts paying into a self-invested personal pension, just as a reminder. So that's all there is to it, to the data input. Now we can move on to the next tab, which is the graph. So as you can see, once you've got a few months worth of data, you'll see your net worth plotted over time. Now you may need to change the scale on this graph depending on what your net worth is. So to do that is very easy. You just right click the scale, format axis, and then you can change the maximum and minimum boundaries. So in this case I've got the major unit as 25,000, and it doesn't need to go as low as minus 100,000, so I'm going to set that minimum to minus 50,000, and I'm going to put the maximum to 150,000 to make this scale a bit more easy to read. So let's close that. There you go, and that's the axis scale changed. It's very easy. You can also set yourself a target in this box here. So in this case I'm going to say 125,000, and that will then appear on the graph as an orange dotted line. And that's all there is really to it, to the chart. So on to the final tab, which is the asset distribution tab. So this basically tells you the value of each of your assets and plots it in a pie chart. So you just select the month and year that you wish to view. So let's say 2016 August, and you can see the distribution of your assets in that month. Just allows you to make sure that you don't have a disproportionate amount of any one asset. And that's really all there is to the spreadsheet. So as I said before, there's a link in the description below if you want to download it. If you find this video helpful and the spreadsheet, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe and leave me any feedback you have in the comments below. Thank you very much.